What does the scriptures say about the manna? Where did it come from? Yeah, it's bread from heaven, right? It's bread from heaven. It's the food of angels. So the manna is miraculous bread, according to Scripture. So can anybody tell me that there's anything in the Old Testament that is greater than the thing it points to in the New Testament? You understand that? So nothing in the Old Testament is greater than the New. Everything in the Old Testament is an image of what's happening in the New Testament. So Jesus is talking in John 6 about the manna and telling us that that was an image of what it is that he's come to give us. So if the manna is miraculous bread from heaven, the food of angels, then the Eucharist can't be ordinary bread, and it can't be a symbol. It contradicts the logic of Scripture. Does that make sense to you guys? So here's one of the challenges. Some of us were talking about this today. At the heart of this is the loss of what a priest friend of mine calls a wound of the mind. And the wound in our minds is a loss of a sacramental vision of realities. Keating says this. I think it's a great insight. We think that only happens at Mass. In reality, everything that you and I see is always more than what it appears to be. All of reality is supernatural. All of reality is again, this is him, kind of like a wondrous mingling of what's visible and what's invisible. I don't know how many persons there are in this circle right now, but there's at least twice as many as you and I can see. At least. Because everybody here, according to Jesus, has a guardian angel who's beholding our Father's face. And they're really here. And so are some other things. But you can't see them. And I can't see them. But they're here. Everything is charged with the spiritual realm. We're used to thinking that reality is always limited to what's visible and touchable, but you know that to be true. That's how you know that not to be true by the fact that you can go into a room that's crowded with people and feel desperately alone. Because though there's people there, it matters who the people are. So it's not enough that there's a body next to me. I want my friend next to me because I don't know who you are. But the friend, it's not just that they have arms and legs and a face and hands and whatever. It's that the invisible part of that person is who matters to me. It's their personality, right? Anybody ever been alone in a room with a lot of people in it? So all of reality is more than it appears to be. And the Eucharist, again, this is Keating's point, the Eucharist and the Mass is just the most intense experience of what always happens. Think about that for a while. Then you could talk about other things, like, so does God just want to give me data, or does God want to give me himself? So when you love somebody and you're not married to them and there's somebody of the opposite sex, you struggle. There's a temptation to be unchaste. There's lots of reasons for that, but one of the reasons for that is because the way we're created, I'm not just a spirit, I'm a body, and sooner or later you want to show that somehow. Anybody ever experienced this? Hello? Right? It's why we want to, like, I love you, therefore I'm going to give myself to you. So I'm not content to, give you a card or buy you flowers or some chocolate. A man and a woman want to give themselves to each other and become one. Why? Because love wants union. That's what love wants. Well, God is love. And infinitely more than you and I are not content to just give each other data. God is not content to just tell me that he loves me. He wants to unite me to himself. What's happening at communion is so far beyond what any of us imagine it to be. It may not be experienced as rapturously as somebody might experience sexual intercourse, but that is the image that the mystics use over and over again to best comprehend what's happening. You and God, I and God, are becoming one. That's amazing. That's how much you matter.